Welcome to week 4 of faculty online training, and in this video we're going to cover how to look at the different views in discussions and then also how to grade them. So let's proceed forward. We'll click on discussion in groups, and from there we'll simply choose which week that we've set up here. And after we do that, we can choose our topics. And currently, if we scroll to the bottom, we'll see which view that we're using here, and we're using the linear view. The linear view is one of the easiest ones to see when you look at it, because you've got the initial post by the instructor, and then here you've got all of the replies set up by the participants or the students. And then if you look here, it tells you how many subthreads there are, and you can click on that, and then you can read those subthreads, and as the instructor you're able to remove them if you would find any content in there that was inappropriate. But if you want to reply to the subthread, or the student wants to reply, they simply type their reply here and they would hit submit. Now I'm going to back up one, and I'm going to go down. I'm going to change my view now, and I'm going to change it from linear to threaded, and then I'm going to click go. And here I can see my discussions done as threads. And the way it works is, this is the initial post, and there is Sharon's response to that post, and then there's the response from John to Sharon's post. So in this regard, it's a little bit easier to see who's responded to who. And if you go to this example here, Kathy's responded to the initial post, and then Barb Dodge has responded to Kathy's post. And Linda Briggs-Deneen has also responded to Kathy's post as well. So this particular view makes it easier to see who's responded to who. The last one that we're going to look at here is Roundtable, and we'll click go. And now Roundtable is really good for grading, because Roundtable lets you see who's participated and how many times they've participated. So you can see here the different folks that have participated, and then if they haven't participated, it'll simply say, in this area here, it'll say no activity. So let's go back to our linear view. It'll take us back into Educator, the view that we're used to seeing. The other thing you can do is choose the default viewing. So you're running a course, if you don't like linear as the default view for discussion, then you can change that. You change it to threaded, and then simply check the box here that says make it the default viewing, and then click go, and that's what it'll always be. Now, what if you want to grade your submissions for the discussions? How do you do that? Well, we'll take John's here, and we'll click on grade this reply, and what happens is it will open up a new window for us. And in that window we can enter the feedback. This part is probably a little redundant, because you could give John feedback on his post by replying to his particular post if you'd like to as the instructor. It's kind of up to you. Here I'm just going to say nice work on this post, John. And then I will enter his grade here, 100%. I will process that, and now John's post has been graded. Go ahead and close this window now. So that, in a nutshell, is the process of looking at the different discussions in their different views, and then being able to go in and grade posts done by students. We also click on the discussion group here. We can see here that groups have been added by the course week. And another group that's been added here, that's been suggested by several people in the course, is to have a discussion for FAQs, a place where people can put a frequently asked question in there, and someone else from the course, if they know the answer, can add that question. Now, you can organize this however you want. I find it easier to keep track of things by adding groups as though they were weeks in the course, and then inside the group name adding the subject that's going to be discussed. Another nice feature of Educator is that when an item has not been read, you're the instructor and you haven't read one of the posts, it automatically shows you immediately where that post is, so you can read that. Some other features that are nice to know about. Let's click on Group Status Control here. We can make those posts active. So for example, if week 1 was over in the course and you wanted it so that people couldn't post to it anymore, you would simply make it inactive. We have all of ours set to active, so that's not an issue here. Let's go back to discussion in groups, and then there's other tools that we'll take advantage of, such as if we want to remove a group. And we can do that by clicking on the group name, and then a window will come up and ask us if we're sure. If we'd like to edit the groups, we're able to do that. You can change the order in which they appear here. If you want to prevent students from posting or starting new threads, you can have this box checked. Personally, I like having that box checked because I think it's easier to keep track of what you as the instructor would like the students to talk about. If they want to go off on a different subject, they can do that by simply replying to the post at hand. If you allow students to start new threads, you may run the risk of having a bunch of threads created inside the discussion board, and it may be difficult for you to keep track of who's posted what. Other options here, if you don't want students to be able to modify their posts, or if you'd like to prevent them from removing their post. And then this one here lets you add students, add groups. Personally, I wouldn't check that one. That way you have a little more say in what group names are out there. Again, it makes it easier for you to keep track of what's out there. That concludes our training video in the Faculty Online Training video series, talking about discussions and groups, and also how to grade discussions.